I hear often workers' compensation isn't authorizing my treatment. What can I do? What can I do to get them to authorize it? They're denying everything. Well, let's go through some steps. First of all, here's the very first step of action you should take. Follow up with your doctor, your primary treating doctor, the secondary doctor that you saw who made that request. Make sure they actually sent in the request for authorization. I see it every single week. Injured workers call me, my clients, and say, they're not authorizing my treatment. The reason they're not authorizing it is because the doctor's office is running slow. The doctor's office hasn't even filled out the paperwork and sent it to the insurance company. So that's the first step. Make sure that request for authorization has been sent in. If it hasn't, you need to put pressure on your doctor, not on workers' comp, because the problem is that your doctor hasn't sent in that request. So let's say your doctor says, you bet, we sent in the request. We sent it in 12 days ago. We got a denial in the mail from utilization review. What do you do now? Now, your primary option is to file an appeal through independent medical review. You flip through that utilization review paperwork. Towards the end, there's going to be an application for independent medical review. A few pages at the very end. A lot of it should be filled out by the insurance company already. It's going to list what treatment was denied or modified, and you can fill out that paperwork. There's no cost to you, and you send that in to Maximus, the company that oversees independent medical review in California. You send that in, and Maximus will review it, and if appropriate, request information. So then the adjuster has to send in medical reports, and you have the option to send in medical reports in support of your appeal as well. So that is, your doctor sent in the request, insurance company issued a utilization review denial. Your main option now, file independent medical review. You cannot take that straight to the board. In 99.9% of the cases, you can't go to a judge and say, look, they denied my treatment, but they should have authorized it. Going to a judge is not appropriate. You need to go to independent medical review. So, another scenario, you talk to your doctor. Doctor says, you bet. We sent in the request for authorization 2 weeks ago. Haven't heard a thing. Sent a follow-up to the adjuster. Haven't heard a thing. The time for utilization review has expired, and now we have nothing. They're not authorizing it. They're not denying it. In this instance, now there's no independent medical review for you to pursue because there's no utilization review denial. The insurance company has blown it when it comes to the deadline for processing the utilization review determination. They should have acted on that request for authorization faster. Your main option at this point is generally going to be send a letter to the adjuster and say, hey, here's a copy of the request for authorization and the facts that proves that it was sent in 2-3 weeks ago. You haven't timely had utilization review. You need to authorize the treatment. If the adjuster has already ignored the request for authorization, they'll probably ignore your letter too. If that happens, then your next option is to go to the board. You would have to file a declaration of readiness to proceed to an expedited hearing. I have another video on that down below. And you can go to the board. You're going to need to rely on your medical reports to establish medical necessity, that treatment is reasonable and necessary. The fact that the adjuster didn't timely do utilization review does not automatically mean that the adjuster has to authorize that treatment. If the doctor has outlined medical necessity, ideally with referring to MTUS, ACOM, it's the guidelines that the doctors use. If the doctor has done that, then the judge could look at that and determine that medical necessity has been established and then order that the treatment be authorized. If the doctor just says, well, let's try an injection, that might work, probably not a good chance that you're going to get that through. But if that RFA was sent in, no utilization review was done, and the adjuster ignores you, generally a DOR to an expedited hearing, we've got another video on that, is going to be the best option to get the matter to the board. Beyond that, not too many other scenarios. Generally, either the doctor doesn't send in the RFA, the adjuster does UR and denies the treatment or modifies it, so then you should pursue IMR, that's your main option, or the doctor sends in the RFA and it just gets completely ignored. In that case, generally filing a DOR to Expedited. I hope this video provided some insight into medical treatment authorization issues. If you found it helpful, hit the like button down below and make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos.